All right, guys, day 10. So let's talk about Castle Freak, which is the third collaboration between this H.P. Lovecraft story with Barbara Crampton, Jeffrey Combs, and directed by Stuart Gordon. And it's really interesting because this year and last year I watched all three. Last year I think I watched Reanimator for the first time, which I really, really liked. I thought Reanimator was really freaking cool. Like, it's just a fun, awesome movie. And then this year, this couple of months ago actually, or no, it's like a month ago, I watched From Beyond, which was the second one released, and it's one that I honestly didn't enjoy as much as I did Reanimator. I thought that it was definitely not as good, but there were still things about From Beyond that I thought was fine, and I just did a review for it recently. But it made sense for me to watch this movie as well. And again, Joe Bob Briggs, Late Night Driving. So I watched this and I thought, I'm gonna see what the third film in the trilogy is like. And I heard good things about it. I heard that people talking about Castle Freak saying that they enjoyed it. And honestly, if I had to like rank this, I don't like it more than Reanimator, but I like this a lot more than From Beyond. The thing that surprised me about this one, about Castle Freak, is that it is a horror movie, and it's a low budget horror movie by Full Moon Entertainment, Charles Band, of course, in his castle, like From Beyond. But it was interesting that watching this one, there was a lot more credibility to some things that I was surprised to see in this one, as opposed to just this kind of genre in general. Um, I was really genuinely surprised how great Jeffrey Combs and Barbara Crampton are in this movie. They're not like they are in the other two films in the trilogy in which they're kind of cheesy, over the top on purpose, and they're fun. And I do like their performances in those movies, but this movie is dead serious with their performances, and I was genuinely surprised how great those two are in this movie. They're characters that are going through struggles. Like, they inherit this big mansion castle, and they've got ghosts in their past about a family member dying, and then they've got a blind daughter, and then the mother, Barbara Crampton, gets mad at Jeffrey Combs and saying that like he's to blame for this. And I thought that this movie just did a great job with characters and drama. Like, I thought that it was surprising for this horror movie to be that good with the performances. Like, and I don't mean that as to say the performances of them are bad in the other movies. I'm just saying that they're different because I do really enjoy them both in Reanimator, especially Jeffrey Combs as Herbert West. But in this one, it's so cool to see them be really serious. Like, I really liked their performances, and they really did a great job. And it just surprised me. And again, it's a really low budget. It's Full Moon, and it's cool to see that they worked their budget very well with this. Like, they just did a good job of making these characters really, really well acted, and I liked how they were written too. I thought they were interesting, and I thought that they did a good job. And the monster stuff is fine. The Castle Freak stuff, like, it's okay, it's fine. It's not anything like that I really remember, but I remember this movie more for the performances than anything. It's not a movie where I'm looking at like the spectacle of like gore or like practical effects. Um, because I guess if I had to choose practical effects, I'd probably choose, well, no, Reanimator probably, and then From Beyond. But this one doesn't really have that as much. It's definitely low budget, which is fine because you had great characters, which I thought elevated this as opposed to the great effects in Reanimator. Like, where that one had great effects, great humor, great characters. This one just had great characters, and From Beyond had some great effects. So it's weird. Like, Reanimator is the one that has all three great things: great acting, great effects. Um, and then in the other two, it's like From Beyond has good effects and Castle Freak has good acting. So it's funny to see the trilogy is like that. It's like there's one that's really good that has a lot of things that are great about it, and then you've got the other two which have good things about it, but they're not as a whole as interesting as or great to me. So this one, and like I said, this one is not. It's not one that I'm gonna remember for like the horror elements, but for the acting elements, I'm gonna remember. and I was just really genuinely surprised. And I'm not saying that these actors haven't done great, because like I said, uh, Dr. Herbert West, like in Reanimator, like that's such a fantastic role that Jeffrey Combs plays. But it's more hokey on purpose, and in this one, he's very serious and very distraught. And then it's just a movie I didn't expect to have that kind of acting from. In which serious acting, like, and I really really liked it and dug it a lot. It just did great, and they're great in all three of them. But it's just this one really, really for the serious acting, this one takes the cake. I really really like that a lot. Um, and there's I don't know what else I could say really about this one after that. Like the acting's great, the characters are great, and I think that the monster stuff is fine. It's just it's not really something I'm gonna remember that much. I did like that they had a blind daughter, so like that was cool to have a monster that she can't see. I thought that was pretty effective and cool. But besides that, that's pretty much all I could say. The acting is the best part about this movie, my favorite thing, and I really, really am glad they had that in this movie. And if it wasn't, then this movie would have been fine. It would have been whatever. But this one, I thought elevated a little more than that. I think I gave it on Letterboxd a 3.5 out of 5 stars because I really did enjoy a lot of elements about it. So this one was really fun. Definitely check it out if you haven't checked it out. I'm glad that I finally got to see the whole trilogy, quote unquote. But but that's it on this review for Castle Freak. Pretty much. So tell me down below what you guys think of it if you have seen it, and see you guys tomorrow for the next day for 31 days.